You know, spiders, most of the time, like, you make me, like, vomit a little bit in my mouth. But, like, right now, I'm kind of turned on. Where'd you get that sweater?
Oh, the hoodie? First of all, that's me. And second of all, these hoodies are back in stock at the Barstool store. Go get yourself one. Limited supplies. So you got to move quick. Who knows if they're ever coming back. They're back in stock now for who knows how long. Go, go, go.
Hey, everybody. Welcome on back. It's the Rubbin is Racing podcast brought to you by NASCAR. NASCAR's rolling into All-Star Weekend from historic North Wilkesboro, and the schedule is packed this year. Friday, you have the All-Star Pit Crew Challenge, which is going to be on FS1. I think it airs at 5:45 on Friday. Saturday, you have the Truck Series, the Tyson 250. We're going to talk about that in just a little bit. That's 1:30 in the afternoon on Fox on Saturday. Sunday, another packed day. The All-Star Open starts at 5:30, and then the actual All-Star Race at 8 p.m., and you can catch that on FS1. So big season for NASCAR. Going back to Wilkesboro is a historic event, and you can catch all the action on either FS1 or Fox. Welcome on back to the show. First off, thank you, Mamba, last week for stepping in. I don't think, myself, Quiggs, or Liam does a great job, but Spider does. So it's a big seat to fill.
What?
How are you complaining about that? You were the only one who got
I appreciate that.
Right
I appreciate that, but I mean, you guys are great. You held it
stuff
down while I was gone.
No, but I think Mama comes in and he's just a naturally friendly guy.
He's the man.
Yeah, like he's come into a couple of our tailgates and stuff like that, and just comes in and he becomes part of the crew. So he's welcome back at any time, and we appreciate him jumping in into the hot seat.
And Denny.
Yeah,
I missed two heavy hitters.
Yeah, Denny was one of our better interviews. I thought he's just, I don't know, maybe it's podcast Denny now kind of realizes that he needs to have a couple of sound bites and shit like that. So thank you to him. We got William Byron coming up in a little bit. Newest NASCAR winner, 3-time winner this season, William Byron. So I'm looking forward to that. But before we start, we're going to do like a little bit of a Ross Chastain appreciation statement. I think us doing a weekly podcast, our fucking job has gotten so much easier because of Ross Chastain.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. I can understand the frustration if you're an owner, right? If you're Mr. Hendrick getting up there, or if you're a fellow racer, or even if you're a fan. Or if you're a gambler. Yeah, he's killing us on a couple of our bets. But I'm talking from a pure entertainment standpoint. When you think about him, doing the Hail Melon and all the antics since then, you can agree or disagree with it, but that's good for us. And I think it's good for NASCAR.
I couldn't agree more. I mean,
Right.
The amount of people I have come up to me and ask me, like, what is this Ross Chastain move, or who's this guy? Like, what was this fight over? Regardless of what the situation is, Ross consistently brings people paying attention to NASCAR. And love him or hate him, I think he's moving the needle in the right direction for NASCAR. Also, to me, the craziest part, the craziest part about all this, and I said last year, I was like, I was afraid to take him late in the season in the playoffs because I thought he had a target on his back. All these guys are going to be coming for him. People that he wrecked all leading up to the playoffs had it out for him. He finished second. And I'm looking at the point standings right now. Yeah. He's first. Yeah. He's got a 27-point margin over Christopher Bell in second place. And like I said, he's still consistently had his name in the news. Whatever side of the fence you're on, I think you have to respect that. And I'm actually pro Ross, if that's not abundantly clear.
We're going to talk about paint schemes in a little bit, and I think if you're coming out of Wilkesboro, seeing the UPS
scheme was hot. I don't want to give too much away, but I often feel like Ross Chastain has a lot to be desired with his paint schemes. Mm-hmm. Like the number one, his car, his brand. I feel like that's a great opportunity, and a lot of times he doesn't deliver, but the UPS scheme was hot. The UPS and FedEx simultaneously was
awesome.
I wish we had thought of a bet.
That would have been awesome.
UPS or FedEx to deliver a win at the Goodyear 400. That could have been fun. Yeah. But, the throwback schemes were very fun.
What did somebody run a USPS scheme?
Did they?
Yeah,
Did they?
Yeah,
I don't know. I might have missed that.
No. I'm
3-car parlay.
MLB scheme.
Yeah, so, and again, if I was a driver and Ross had done something, maybe I'd be throwing hands right now with him. So I can understand frustration for other people, but I'm telling you right now, as far as Rubbin is Racing is concerned, I think you guys will all agree that Ross Chastain has been a godsend.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I'll agree the least, since I had him last week.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
he is, if he's, let's just say he's not racing this year, like, what is the NASCAR storyline?
Yeah.
There's not a ton else other than, like, stuff he's been involved in.
Yeah. So and that's our whole deal. Like when we first started the podcast, way back 12 weeks ago or so, I was talking about commercial times and stuff like that. And by the way, we're going to talk about Ross Chastain again. We'll get into it, with him and Kyle Larson. But just from the top of the show, I just wanted to say that, throw out a thank you to the dude. Because he's making our, he's absolutely destroying our fucking betting cards. So he can eat the biggest of dicks because of that. But as far as us being able to put together, a decent podcast when Spider's here, I think Ross Chastain helps out a lot, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so number one. Recap the weekend. Saturday, Kyle Larson, and did you see you had him.
Yeah.
Yeah, so another one. So you got to pay attention to this asshole. So Quiggs hits us and says, I don't know where I was. I was in West Virginia at the time, but I was driving through Kentucky when you hit us with the Kyle Larson bet.
Yeah.
And I couldn't get it because I was in Kentucky or Cincinnati or West Virginia. One of them I couldn't get it in, and so I never got it in. But you hit.
And it was like, so I didn't even watch the race. I'm watching it on the app on my phone, just seeing like where he is and he got sent to the back of the pack for, I think, speeding on the pits with 50 laps to go, and went all the way back to the front and won it. He was just better than everyone in that race.
And then him and John Hunter, right, fought it out. John Hunter Nemechek fought it out, right into the flag. It's a great replay to watch. If you guys didn't watch Saturday's race with Kyle Larson bringing home a win, that's 6 wins in his last 9 Xfinity races. So
I thought that John Hunter was going to hold him off.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it might have been the only one. But
I mean, it was just hard racing.
Yeah,
and I think
loved
people
it. It
were
was
mad
an
at Larson a
electric
little
finish.
bit, but I think they were only mad because it's like he's coming down from a
Yeah.
series. I think if it's two
But fuck that.
Xfinity drivers, that's just two guys.
we heard what Zane Smith said in our interview. Fuck it.
Yeah.
We've got to race against those guys. That's just the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I would tell you what, if we didn't get such a wild finish at Darlington, then it would have been another weekend where the Xfinity races would have been better than the Cup Series.
Yeah.
But we got lucky with it. And Darlington wasn't that exciting up until the last third of the race, but we'll get to that. Sunday, I was watching the broadcast. I didn't tune in until a little after halfway through. So I know Richard Petty was in the booth at first. Then they brought in Carl Edwards, who everybody absolutely blows.
Yeah.
I mean, I know Carl had just sort of got up and left NASCAR, and everyone's dying to have him back. People commenting on his physique like crazy, and the backflip
He
guy
did
and
look
stuff
hot.
like that.
I'll say that. He's a handsome dude.
I mean, it's kind of tongue-in-cheek, but it's the most homoerotic commentary I've ever seen in NASCAR is when people talk about Carl Edwards.
It is a unique discussion. I mean, obviously one that I'm not well versed in, but it seems like everyone's walking on eggshells anytime he does anything with NASCAR. But he seemed to dive head first in, and the whole NASCAR 75 ceremony pre-race was just awesome to watch.
Yeah. They said, does he have any interest in coming back? Because obviously he's in good shape, as per everyone's comments, and he said he might be doing some sim racing.
Honestly, to me, he did come back. That was him coming back. If you're a NASCAR fan that was begging for Carl Edwards to show face, we got it. So I don't know. That was a win. And I love that he was in the booth too.
Actions Detrimental had something where I think Carl said that he's not on social media, and then he called bullshit on it. He said that
He's got a burner?
He's got burners out there. He's got multiple. There might even be a Carl Edwards blue check mark account that he doesn't own up to. Then he's like, no.
How many NASCAR drivers do you think have burners?
Well, Denny said he looked over his shoulder, I think, and saw him checking Twitter. So I think he's calling him. Yeah, Denny's absolutely fucking fearless, is what it is. And then Awesome Bill was $1 Million Bill was in the booth for the third and final stage, which I thought was pretty good.
I could not believe. I mean, I'm a big Chase Elliott fan.
Mm-hmm.
I could not believe how Southern Bill Elliott was. And I know he's like Georgia guy, he's an old-time NASCAR driver, but you hear Chase speak, and I guess I thought I was expecting to hear someone that sounded like Chase, and I don't think Bill and Chase sound alike at all. So that was a little surprised. I love Bill Elliott, but I didn't know that
wasn't the most electric out of the three that they had.
It wasn't, but
he was also like, there would be like 10-minute spans where I thought like, all right, he's no
He's
longer
gone?
in the booth, and then he'd just say a sentence. I was like, oh shit, he's still there.
I will say he was self-aware in the sense where I think he knew, like, I haven't said anything in a while, and then he would pitch a pretty good question. So I thought he was pretty good contribution.
Especially for what they're doing, right? They're bringing back all these legends for best 75
Right.
drivers and stuff.
Him and Petty were great. The
Yes.
Petties. But my question is, do you think any part of that Carl Edwards was like some sort of like tryout, or I don't know? No.
I don't think Carl Edwards like wants to be that involved. With
I think
racing
you're right,
anymore.
but at the same
I
time,
think he just doesn't like. I don't know.
I'm interested to hear what the purest NASCAR fans would
Because
think.
people
of
love him
having
so
a-
much. He has an open invite to get in the car, get in the booth whenever.
But do they
like, I
love
don't think
him-
he wants to do.
Do they love him because there's such a mysterious aura
Yes.
about him? Yeah,
100%.
So
it's
maybe
a
that
guy,
goes
like,
away.
retiring when he has so much potential and just disappearing. And
Yeah.
never really telling anybody why.
Can I make this comparison? They're redoing Back to the Future, the movie. Did you see
Yeah.
that?
No, I'm
And they
not a movie
approached
guy.
Michael J. Fox just to have some sort of, like somebody coming in and out and him passing by. I don't know what his role would be. I don't think it would be a starring role because of where Michael is right now with his Parkinson's. And he said, I made my money. The movie is what it is. You guys have fun with it. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he's like, I'm done. I'm done with
Yeah.
Back to the Future. I think he made at least three or four of those things, right? So I think like Carl Edwards was like, yeah, I backflipped and I'm getting the hell out of here. But to your point, and if you think it's a tryout, I don't think it's necessary. I think he could come in.
It's
and
his if he wants it.
Do whatever. Like he could be the gas man for somebody next week if he wanted to. Right, Truex won stage 1. Truex was fast. He was fast on Sunday. Chastain won stage 2. And then Byron wins. William Byron wins again. We're going to have him coming up, even though he led only 7 laps in the race. It's his 7th career win. It's his 3rd this season, so he has the most wins of any driver this season. His first is at his first was at, so he's done Phoenix and Las Vegas, and now Darlington.
Yeah.
Right? So the 3 that he has, because those were back-to-back.
Yeah.
Vegas and Phoenix were back-to-back. It was Vegas first, then Phoenix, and now Darlington. So the 3 wins that he has means that all 3 came on playoff tracks. That's awesome, right?
That's something to think
a
about,
tidbit,
Large.
yeah.
Yeah. So, and that's his first win at Darlington, and it's Hendrick Motorsports' first win since 2012, which I thought was wild. HMS
Darlington?
hasn't won at Darlington since 2012 when Jimmy Johnson was behind the wheel for them.
And it also the 100th career win for the 24 car.
Yeah. So
Which that's fitting in like the grand scheme of the weekend with the throwbacks and the.
yeah. And by the way, so he comes out of his air tube or something had come out in the first stage. So he was like sucking in a lot of carbon monoxide throughout. I think his visor was cracked through it, and it was hot in the car, and it's only going to get hotter. Like, I think this is the first year I'm going to really appreciate just how long this season is, particularly in the summer months. And we'll ask William about it in a little bit. But so he's a 3-win driver right now. And I wouldn't be surprised if he grabs a 4th, right?
I mean, the way he's been
time.
running, he could have 4, 5, 6. I don't know.
Yeah, and then again, we'll get to the end of the race to see whether or not it's how he's running, because I don't think at any point he really was the fastest car on the track, but there was so much other shit going on.
True.
I have a couple of random observations. Chase Elliott was disappointed with P3. His dad was up in the booth, and he blamed it all on himself. Not the car, not the crew. He put it all on himself. So there's 13 races to go, 13 regular season races to go. I'm going to tell you guys right now, I think we all agree that Chase Elliott's going to get a win this season. We all there?
Yep.
Over under 1.5. Does Chase Elliott get 2 wins this season?
I'll take the over.
You take it?
Yeah.
We count an all-star race
Yeah.
as a win?
No.
I'll take the under. I think he wins this week.
Are you foreshadowing on your card here?
Yeah, I think he might be on my card this
Okay.
weekend.
I had mentioned this. After Darlington, we have 6 Toyota drivers in the Cup Series, and only 2 haven't won. Do you know who they are?
Say it again.
So there's 6 Toyota drivers.
Right.
Only 2 haven't won a race yet this season.
Ty Gibbs
yeah.
and Bubba Wallace.
Yeah, Bubba Wallace and Ty Gibbs. Bubba gets his 2nd top 5 in a row, right? So racing a little bit better. And I don't know if this is a silly question to ask. Do you think that Bubba Wallace or Ty Gibbs gets a win first this season? Is that a wild, like, if you had to do that on a head-to-head matchup, would it be a wild Ty Gibbs plus 250, Bubba Wallace minus 200 type thing? Or is that closer than people might expect? Because Ty Gibbs has had, particularly in the beginning of the season, he's had a pretty good season for a rookie so far. Definitely Rookie of the Year numbers.
Well, I would think it would be pretty underdog odds for Ty.
Yeah.
But then
no, I'm saying,
again,
but is it that wide, like for a Bubba versus a rookie?
I think Bubba's more likely to win. Ty Gibbs has been crazy consistent, though. I think if
Yeah.
it was like who'll finish the season with more top 15s, I think Ty could win that because he's just like there every week. He's like racing very safe and like calculated.
yeah,
But Bubba will just like show up on
right.
weekend.
Bubba pulls some
and be
crazy
like, oh,
moves.
He's driving aggressive. He's doing good. So I think Bubba, if you're going for a winner, he'll get it first. But I think Ty is
Because
like,
the super speedway's coming up.
yeah, like
Right.
he can win any of those. He's in like really good contention for.
Right. Maybe it's not as close as I thought. Third question. I know it was Mother's Day when I was sitting down watching this. It was like with all the throwback, whatever. Jamie Little.
Oh boy.
She was in a poodle skirt and like a
Oh,
sleeveless thing. And I watched. And so I took my wife to go see Grease, her favorite
Fuck.
movie with the whole thing. I don't know. Little Bobby socks on her. Is she hot as balls, or is that? You don't have to answer, I guess.
I'm a fan of Jamie Little. I think she does a great job. She does a great
Yeah,
job.
I'm telling
that
you right
outfit
now.
didn't do it for me.
I'm,
No?
I'm with Quigs on this
I don't
one.
think that was ever like an era of sexiness. For,
Yeah, no,
for
that
me.
the poodle
maybe-
doesn't.
Maybe an older thing.
You're showing your age, Larch.
But listen, I used to beat off the Lane Bryant catalogs, but I will tell you right now, whatever she was doing, whatever she was bagging, I was raking, Mrs. Little. And with all due respect, I thought she was hot as balls. All right, let's talk about Ross versus Larson. On the second restart after Truex wrecked, right? And people kind of forget, well, maybe not forget, but as Truex was wrecking, Larson was giving Chastain the business, right?
Oh, yeah.
Up against the wall. Wasn't jeopardizing really either of their races per se. Like obviously it wasn't helping out Chastain. But then Truex wrecks. We get the next restart. Ross goes inside and Kyle goes outside and he just wrecks it for both of them. Ends both of their days. And, Kyle Larson, who then left the track without talking to any reporters, shows up on Race Hub on FS1 yesterday or maybe the day before, and they say, we have an exclusive. Kyle Larson left the track at Darlington without speaking to anyone. We have him in the studio. And Larson barely spoke about it. He did not want to, he was like, I'm very excited to go on. These things happen. Didn't say anything, didn't like show any kind. And I don't know if it's one of those things where NASCAR talks to him or not, but like, Chastain, who we know has got points leaders, sexy car, all the stuff that's
So
going right.
good.
He's
So good when he's racing.
Yeah.
Clean.
And the only frustration we saw for Kyle Larson is that he pushed him when he had him in that T-bone thing. He pushed him for 300 yards.
Yeah, he would have taken him to the
would've-
end of the race.
Yeah, it
if
was
he
like
could've.
Forrest Gump, like kind of ran out of the fucking stadium. So what did you think? What did you think about Chastain's move there?
I think one, you can't like just not think about what Larson did. Like Larson pinned him against the wall the restart before, and like, which I don't blame Larson for doing that either, because which we saw the next restart. Like, if you don't take care of Chastain, he's going to take care of you. But I don't know. The Ross wreck was bad. Like, he wasn't clear at all. Like, whatever he was trying to do there was never, ever going to work in a million years. And you're taking out both cars. I think he should, like, he had the inside. So what happened on the other restart wasn't going to happen again. I think you just raced that clean. And he had a really good car and could have won it.
Would you say the blame is all? Who would you put the blame on? What percent on who?
I'd say Ross.
Majority?
Yeah. I think there is, like, the Larson did that, but it was way more of a move that, like, wasn't automatically going to end in both cars being out of it. Like, there was a race move. Ross's move was, like, always going to end up with him and Larson being out of the race.
And we have to recognize, for people that didn't really watch the race, you have to recognize, too, like to Quiggs' point, with Chastain starting on the inside, Larson starting on the outside, Larson also had help right behind him.
Yeah.
Right? You had Chase Elliott, William Byron, and then Kevin Harvick in the mix, I guess, in that top 5 on the restart. So, there was help behind him.
Right.
And Ross Chastain has a lot of things, a very fast car and a hell of a personality, and he's not afraid to throw a punch. He doesn't have a lot of help behind him anymore.
No.
Right? And that, might even be said for a guy who's, is Trackhouse. I don't even know if Suarez goes to, and that's where I think it's going to bite him in the ass. as all of a sudden he's got to climb through some lappers, and one of them is Noah Gragson.
Yeah.
Noah Gragson's not getting out of the way.
I said all these things, Large. I was really like the biggest Ross Chastain fan last year, and I still am now. And somehow he never really got it last year. He finished fucking second in the championship.
Yeah.
Like, I'm with you, but at the same time, it seems like he's somehow just one of the great things about Ross is he'll do all this shit and then just seemingly get not punished for it.
Yeah.
That was the dumbest move I've seen from him.
I'm with
Yes.
you. I hated the move.
I don't mind the punch. I love the neutralizing of Gragson's right hand.
They had two of the fastest cars. They wreck each other. It's so dumb. Like I would have loved this move if Ross had a win already in the year. He's going for his first win. He's got a freaking hot rod. He's got one of the best cars on the track, one of the best paint schemes. Stay in the race. Like, don't do something dumb like that. I could see running him up into the wall. I'm with that, but I don't know. I just think if it's going to come to that, don't wreck each other. Save it for after the race and throw hands. That would be way better for everyone involved. And as much as I said that Ross has a way of avoiding shit, it seems like Kyle Larson just never really involved in any extracurriculars, or like you said, he's getting himself off the hook with dodging some questions.
Just think about that though, too, Spider. If you're pushing me for what seemed like forever, even like the pit crew is still pushing you. He's still pushing you. They're talking about Kyle Larson pushing the one. Are they looking at each other? Like as you're, like, Malachi crunching me from the side,
Like throwing middle fingers.
yeah,
up?
like are you gonna
think
stop
so,
anytime soon? Like they have to be looking at each other.
Larson was definitely staring him down.
Yeah. So either way, then on the restart after that, it goes Byron, Harvick, Chase, and I can't remember who else was on the restart. But anyway,
Keselowski?
maybe, yeah. And then Byron makes a pass and then takes off. And he wins for his third win of the season. So let's go to him right now. So we're going to go 3 wide with William Byron and get his take on what had happened this weekend. All right, so as we said, we have the winner of the Goodyear 400 at Darlington. It's the 7th win of his career, the 3rd this season. It's his first win at Darlington. It's William Byron. We only speak to William Byron after he wins races, so it's always a positive experience. How you doing, William? How's everything?
I'm good, man. Thanks for having me. Like I said, it's good to not be on here for any controversial reasons and be another win. So
Let me ask you a quick question. Let's say you were a NASCAR Cup driver who was he was with a great team, and let's say you already had 2 wins in a season that's about halfway over, and let's say your teammate missed like 6 weeks because he broke his leg doing something on a snowboard. And let's say you're third in a race where another one of your teammates is about to just crush the guy ahead of him, and the guy who needs the win is behind you. And that guy who needs the win, his dad is up in the booth, and you know about it. It's a NASCAR legend. And all you have to do is set a small pick on a guy like Kevin Harvick, and then he goes through and gets the race win, turns the season around, good for the team and everything. Is that why everyone's calling you the most selfish driver in NASCAR right now?
Oh, geez. I didn't know all these things, but no, I mean, I think racing's just it's a sport that, it's a very different sport than anything else. You've got 4 teams, but really you have your one team. So you're always trying to race and do the best you can for your team and your car. But certainly, try to help our teammates when we can. But I didn't think of all those different intertwining things. But yeah, it worked out the way it did.
Absolutely. I don't think he would have took the win. I mean, I think Bill would have been disappointed, if he gave his son a win and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, he had some those guys had some damage on their cars too from the wrecks. So my car, luckily I got through those wrecks, literally unscathed, and my car was in great condition, so I had a lot of speed.
Your car was in great condition for a lot of reasons. One being that Jeff Gordon 98 Chroma car scheme. And we saw a lot of great throwbacks this week. Did you have a favorite besides the one you raced? And do you have a favorite that you would like to race in the future?
Yeah, honestly, I hate to sound like the company guy, but I really did like the 9 and the 5 schemes. I like the 9 because I grew up watching Casey Kane. And that car won a lot of races. So, and obviously Bill winning the Brickyard. So, that honestly, I think the 9s was the coolest to me because it made the most sense. Like that was the car that I grew up watching. watching race.
Where do you stand now? So, first driver to get 3 wins this season, and we constantly talk about pressure on the show. When we spoke about to Denny last week, and he had said it wasn't so much the pressure to win this season, it was to get that 33 race drought off of his back. So it was like pressure from everywhere. But as far as the season goes, now you have 3 wins in your pocket, going towards the playoffs. How loosey-goosey do you get behind the wheel knowing that you have those already on board?
Yeah, I mean, we like to say like, oh, we're just going to go, guns blazing and go be more aggressive, but we're already being as aggressive as we feel like we can be and still win the race. But, so I think honestly, we probably do just step it up and just continue to try to push it, pound it in the ground, I guess. We try, our motto as a team, I think is, we're very, we're hard workers and we put our heads together and work internally. So I think we're just going to keep doing that. Keep, kind of my crew chief is kind of like a Bill Belichick. He's very, very structured and, he doesn't go out and party with me. So he's no days off.
After you got your 3rd win, we saw yet again you threw on the big hat to celebrate your win. Can you just walk us through how that all came about?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, just was a conversation throughout the off season. I saw Josh Allen on Thursday Night Football. He put it on, and after they won a game, I thought, man, that's a pretty cool idea, and we went with it, and we thought, man, if we get a win, we'd love to put that thing on. So it took off from there, and then I saw the Atlanta Braves were doing it after hitting home runs. They would celebrate with it, and then some like the MLB I guess banned it. So whatever, but at least NASCAR we can I can wear it, so I like it. I think it's goofy, but it's the guys have fun with it.
Oh, we talk about distractions all the time too. Your grandfather died on Thursday of that week. You got a little bit emotional when you got out of the car. I know emotions are already running high once you win a race and whatnot, but how tough is it to step into a car? Your family wasn't there, right? It wasn't there to like share in the win with you and stuff. So can you talk about how tough that is to sort of still perform when you have that kind of stuff going on in your personal life?
Yeah, I mean, it's tough, to be honest. Like, there were part of me that didn't really want to be at the racetrack on Sunday. I'm kind of like, man, I'd rather be with my family. It's Mother's Day, all those things. So I think that you kind of weigh that as a athlete, just how the desire changes, right? Based on circumstances, and, life kind of has a way of kicking in over what you do. So I think, it was cool. I told my girlfriend after, I felt like life kind of was more important this week, but somehow racing gave me a little bit of hope, or gave me a little bit of just a moment with my family that I didn't expect. So it was really cool. I mean, a tough week, but really cool to have that moment with them.
So this week coming up at North Wilkesboro, we got the All-Star race. Break down the All-Star format for some novice fans or someone that might tune in for the first time this weekend. And also explain your participation in the late model race at North Wilkesboro as well. Was there any did Mr. H not want you to participate, or was he supportive of the decision? Or
True. I mean, yeah, he was he's good with it. I think I haven't ever been in any dirt cars. I think all cars are, there's a risk you take getting in a race car, right? You might crash into things and hurt yourself. But luckily in my late model, I've got my seat. Everything fits me perfect, fits me like a glove. So I feel like I'm as safe as I can be. I feel like that race will be exciting. Get up there at North Wilkesboro, see the track. I feel like this weekend, I personally, to answer your question on the All-Star race, I don't really know the format yet. I haven't really looked at it, but I know there's $1 million on the line. So it'd be nice to get some cash and secure the bag and bring it home. So we'll see. Hopefully that's the case, but it looks like it's going to be a cool event.
As a gambling company, which is what Barstool is first and foremost, we spoke to Denny about the possibility next year of you guys doing some sort of 32 driver tournament, just a bracket to break up the summer a little bit. And obviously there's no betting on your side. You guys are just competing to win every week. But it makes it really interesting for us, and maybe lets NASCAR capture those dog days of summer for gamblers. You know what I mean? Like something to do where we get a July Madness as opposed to March Madness. And the benefit to you guys, obviously, is that there'll be some cash prize for it. And Denny's like, there's an overwhelming amount of support from drivers. Do you think that kind of cheapens it? Is something cool? Is it something that maybe you need a little bit of motivation sometimes in those summer months? How do you feel about that? Because I'm looking forward to it. I would love if that thing was to happen. I don't see a downside.
For sure. I think it'll happen. I've heard talks of it, happening. I think it'd be super cool. I agree with you. I'm a big sports guy. I mean, as soon as the NBA and NHL is over, there's that dead time. I mean, everyone likes baseball, but I don't know if I can sit through a lot of baseball games in July. So I think honestly, having a chance to include racing in something fun, exciting, I think it'll bring a lot of competition because knowing that it's actually something real will bring a certain weight to it for us. And I didn't think about it this weekend as far as my matchup. I think I was going against Reddick, but next year if it comes back around,
you won that matchup, just so you know. Yeah,
I guess. So next year if it comes back around, I think it's going to be cool. I mean, I think the drivers will get invested in it.
And another thing you seem to be invested in outside of racing is the Carolina Hurricanes. It seems like you're a big NHL fan. How much is that an outlet from racing? And what do you think of their series versus the Florida Panthers here?
Yeah, man, I went to I'm not a bandwagon. I went to the 2006 Stanley Cup and watched them. They won against Edmonton, so I went to the first game there. Sat up in the nosebleeds, but they're doing really good. I got a chance to meet Brent Burns this year, and I mean he's pretty badass. I mean, he's got a ton of tattoos and but super nice guy. He scored a lot of goals in the playoffs. I feel like he's a big leader of the team. And I just like the NHL. Those guys are cool, man. They hit and they move on. Like there's a good culture in hockey of being able to scrap and hit each other and play hard, but also, shake hands after.
I think NASCAR should take something from the drop gloves. A little bit more fighting like they do in the NHL would be awesome.
Yeah, I agree. I think NHL does a good job of, they hit hard and they don't let up, and then afterwards they have to go through the line. And I mean, there's something to be said about that.
For sure.
We're going to wrap it up, but congratulations again. Again, we only speak to winners, and we got another one here. So a 3-time winner and grabs his first at Darlington. Any other tracks that you're really looking forward to biting into this season?
Yeah, I mean, I think the summer months are kind of a drag sometimes. So trying to just, get ready for the heat, and hopefully there's a couple tracks over the summer that we can have success at. And I mean, Charlotte, the 600, that's a big one for me. I mean, that's it, big race for everybody. I feel like that's one of those crown jewel races. So hopefully we can be up front at that one.
Cool. We'll be at Nashville, and then I think the following week we'll be in Chicago, so hope to bump into you then. But this is William Byron. Obviously, he drives to 24, just picked up another win. I'm thinking that he probably has another 1 or 2 in him. Congratulations.
Number 100, the 100th win for the 24 car.
Yeah.
No big deal.
Pretty cool.
Yeah, best of luck. Stay out of trouble, William. We'll talk to you soon.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Take care, buddy.
Yeah.
All right, so that's William Byron. William Byron is he's a good guy. Like, we're talking about the bad boys of NASCAR, maybe. William Byron is a good soul. And I mentioned to him briefly with his grandfather, he was almost brought to tears with Jamie Little. Bonk. But, because his grandfather had died earlier in the week. So maybe that's the reason I like her. I was very emotional for William at the time. But either way, every time he comes on, he's an absolute pleasure. I hope we get him on when he scores another win, at the very least. All right, so we usually do some sort of like history part in Rubbin is Racing, just because of all the paint schemes that are being thrown around. It's kind of fun to watch them last week, and again, we'll get some this week. So we decided to do a draft. We decided to do, is it a snake draft?
Yeah.
Right, so the snake draft. So here at
based
Barstool,
off gambling records. So you'll be first, I'll be second, Spider's last.
Okay, so that's going to be
So I get 2 in a row, though.
Yes.
All right, let's rip.
So we're going to do our top 4 paint schemes, driver scheme, car schemes of all time. Right, and we'll do a graphic with it, and Barstool tends to do these things a lot. So, and again, I'm the best gambler in here, so I'm going to go first, Quiggs, and then Spider's going to bring up the rear.
People are going to be so mad about this.
Why is that? Oh, really?
Oh, people will be so mad. We haven't even done the picks yet, and the amount of how do you put this in over that? But that's
Really?
it's good for. Oh yeah.
Okay.
Let's hear
People get
it.
very
I'm here
passionate
for
about
it.
it, and there's so many options that.
Yeah, I
There's
was
no-
going to say that. There's no
There's
possible way that you
infinite
could put in every good one.
So how are we? We're gonna pick 4 of our favorites,
And then we'll have a 5th category that's kind of like a toss-up of like, it's not necessarily one you think is an all-time scheme, but you want it on your board. Whether it's highlighting something that's like you think the worst scheme of all time,
Right.
it's bad,
Okay.
but you like it. It's just so bizarre that like it needs to be shown.
Right.
So it'll just be like a miscellaneous 5th category.
All right.
Okay. So top 4 plus a miscellaneous.
Yeah.
And are we snaking it? So it
Yeah.
goes right back Spider.
And I
Spider
did
does 2 in the back.
research.
All right. So mine's almost, the first one's almost a twisted history one anyway. And I'd asked these guys, I want this one. I'm a Miller High Life guy. That's what I drink. And Bobby Allison's 1988 Miller High Life Buick Regal is a gorgeous car. The number 12 is a gorgeous car. Big Buick across the right above the right across the hood. I just love it. And the reason that I love it so much is also the story behind it. On Father's Day, June 19th, 1988, right? So back in 1988, Bobby he blows a tire before turn 2 of lap 1 and then gets T-boned by this guy named Giacomo Maggiacomo. That's the guy's name, Giacomo Maggiacomo. He's a driver that never really went anywhere, I don't believe. And it's sort of like that name, Jocko Flacco was the
I was
monkey
gonna say.
that I spoke about. Yeah. So so he gets, it's in Poconos, by the way. I should have mentioned that. So they're in Poconos, Pennsylvania at the Tricky Triangle. It's turn 2. He said he had something wrong. He just wanted to make it around 1 lap, and then he was going to pit because he felt that there was something wrong with his tire. Blows the tire. Jocko hits him hard. He gets T-boned by him. Stop the race, obviously goes under caution. Takes a half hour to get him out of the car. They have to bring in the jaws of life to cut him out of the car, Bobby Allison. And like Bobby Allison, obviously a huge racing family, which we know. Him and his brother were involved in the Daytona, I think 1979 fight, right? Like they had gotten into it with Cale Yarborough. So anyway, it's Father's Day. Takes a half hour to cut him out of his car. They helicopter him to Lehigh Valley Hospital, where he wound up staying for a month. And he never raced again. He was an older driver. And here's the thing. His son was driving in that race. His son, Davey. So his son, Davey, watched his dad on Father's Day get choppered out. And then Davey wound up taking P5. He finished 5th in it. So he got a top 5 finish on it. Pretty cool fucking story.
Yeah, a fun fact too. Sean McDonald, who works here, his grandfather was on his pit crew, I believe.
Is
Get
that
outta
real?
Here, really?
Yeah.
Bobby
Yeah.
Allison's?
Bob or
Probably
Dave?
Bobby. I think.
I don't know. One of the two.
Bobby
I know.
Allison is actually, he's still alive. He's 85 years old, I think. So he's still alive. I think he's better looking than Carl Edwards, but a little bit of a tragic story because he had 2 sons. Other than his brother also racing. Do you know about this? His 2 sons were also racers, and they died within 11 months of each other. So Bobby's still alive at 85. I think his son Davey, who finished P5 at Pocono that day, died at 32 in a helicopter crash going into Talladega. And then his other son was actually younger. I think he was 27 when he died in a racing crash.
I think-
11 months apart.
I think that's the one he was best friends with.
Okay. One of the younger
Sean's
drivers.
Yes.
Yeah,
his
that probably
grandfather.
makes more sense. Yeah. So, a tragic story, a great driver, and I think the best fucking car of all time. The 1988 number 12
That
Miller
gold
High
is
Life
hot.
Buick Regal. Yeah, that gold is this.
That
the
gold
shit.
is hot.
Yeah. So
It's
I'm taking
almost
that. Yeah.
All right, Quigs.
All right. I think I just have to take this because if I don't take it, it's not
Don't
getting
do
there.
it. No.
It's the chalkiest pick ever. The Dale. The
Which Dale?
Black GM Goodrich. The Intimidator. I think it's the most iconic scheme of all time. It's just clean. It looks scary. That's what I'm going with. I don't think
You
that
have
would have
to.
got. I don't think that would have gotten back to me if
Yeah,
I
I didn't think just because of the snake draft. I feel more strongly about the story, but you have to take that.
Yeah.
If it's on the board, you have to take it.
All right. So I'll go with the second most iconic, in my humble opinion. The one before I was even a NASCAR fan, I was playing with the diecast, the Jeff Gordon 24 DuPont Rainbow Warrior. I think it's classic. It always plays. You think NASCAR, you think of their logo, right? It's got every color in it. Well, guess what? So does Jeff Gordon's car. As a kid, that thing really popped. And you know what? Fuck it. In the name of that, I will take the second car that resonated with me as a child, and that is the M&M's car. And I'm taking the Kyle Busch iconic original I shouldn't say original. The 18 M&M's
Yellow
car,
one.
just the yellow one.
That's good. I really like the white one too. It's not.
You know,
I don't think iconic, but it just looks so clean. The
This
white
one won't get
M&Ms.
So we'll take that off the board though. Then right, like so once you take an M&M's car,
Yeah,
right,
well, I
because we
wouldn't
can't
take,
go
like, the white
different
one.
schemes.
Yeah.
Right, because I like the final one. We were talking about it from Phoenix.
That's
the final
right.
M&M's car, which had pictures
Yeah.
of the fans like embedded into the cards or however the hell they did it. I thought that one was pretty hot too. But that classic fucking M&M's car.
And the Gordon one, I was very up in the air. I had that on my board. The kind of more rainbow warrior one, or like the flame one.
The flame
I
one's
think
sick.
I think the rainbow one is like a cleaner look, but the flame one just reminds me of like Hot Wheels, just
Yeah.
like kid, like it's just classic NASCAR.
I actually
with, like,
prefer the
flames.
flame one, but in terms of iconicness, I think the Rainbow Warrior
Yeah.
it takes the cake.
All right, that's you. So you have two.
I have two.
All right, so then that goes back to you.
Back to me.
Yeah.
Quiggs fucked me with that pick.
I got a big board. There's one that I love, but I think I could get it later. No, I'm going with it. The Sterling Marlin
Coors Light.
Coors Light Silver Bullet.
That thing's
I think
so
it's my favorite scheme ever. I think I maybe could have got it later, but it's so clean. It looks fast.
You couldn't have, because I would have gone Miller High Life and then Coors Light.
Really?
Yeah. Not doing the
Then
Bud Light
I
car.
love that car. I think that's my favorite scheme ever.
Okay. So then, all right. So then you're only one. Then that's to me.
Yep.
I'm
You got
taking. I'm taking the 2003 Darlington Tide car, the Tide Ride,
Yeah.
written by
Fire.
Ricky Craven. Yeah. So that was the duel with Kurt Busch. It was the closest photo finish in the history of NASCAR. It was 2/1000ths of a second.
This
Yeah,
bad boy
exactly.
right here.
And so him and Kurt Busch coming to the line. Oh no, 32, right? Wasn't it?
I mean, a lot of
Craven.
people
Yeah,
have run the
yeah.
10. This is Ricky Rudd.
Yeah. So I like the bit, but that one race, particularly when he was at Darlington and him and Bush, I mean, it was one of the greatest races ever. And like seeing a young Kurt Busch talk about it afterwards, and the cars being smushed together as they're going over the line. So I love it. So the Tide Ride is my second pick, and then I got to go right to the third, right?
Yep.
What?
I'm just laughing at. I got to make some choices here, and we're gonna have some really iconic schemes left off our list.
What do you think the one that's been omitted thus? Well, I guess.
No, we're not doing that yet.
Yeah. I think then so
Say
since
your
it's-
next pick, Quiggs.
No, it's largest.
Since it's back to me, I have to go back to me. I think I'm going to do the 29. I'm going to do I think I'm going to do Harvick's 29. And I think he's racing it again. So Kevin Harvick is racing the 29 this weekend at North Wilkesboro. So I'm taking this week's car. I don't think anyone else is taking.
What is it? Is it Dodge Viper or what? What's the?
I don't know. I'm looking at it right now, but it's one more time in the 29 for when he had stepped into the seat after Dale had died, and then he was in Atlanta and he beat Jeff Gordon, right? And he was a rookie, so that was like an iconic time to see the 29. So to see it coming back this week, one more time the 29, I'm going to take that. I see it right now, like that's, and plus it's pretty sharp.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's a sharp car.
That's nice.
Yeah. So that's my. So those are my two picks. That's to you.
I have one or two picks. One, right?
Your turn?
No,
Or
you
is
have
it- it's
two
my
more.
turn,
So it's
and then
Quiggs,
you'll have
and you
two.
do your two, and then Quiggs, and then I do my final.
Oh, it's tough. I can't go double on that one.
I'm
I'm
definitely.
going. We already have a Miller car taken, but I'm going Rusty Wallace's the black midnight Miller Genuine Draft number
MGD
2.
one, yeah.
So clean. Yeah, that's what I'm going with.
All right, so I'm gonna take the Wrangler Earnhardt number 3, iconic blue and yellow,
Yeah.
fucking one of the cleanest schemes ever in my opinion. It has to be mentioned, and I'm happy to draft
Just like the
it.
most American thing of all time.
It really is.
That's why I was
and
very
then,
tempted to take that, but I already got Dale on my board.
so I have another pick.
Yes.
Yep. Your final like real pick.
My final real pick, and this one I'm torn between because my guy number 5 has two of the hottest schemes ever. Tony the Tiger, but I'm going to take not Tony the Tiger. The Kellogg's car, the number 5, is fucking iconic. It's sick. It's one I wish that still raced, and I'm happy to draft him. So, yeah.
Terry Labonte.
The
Texas Tornado.
I think Larson should have ran the...
That would be sick. So back to me, my final real pick. I'm going with a newer car that I just love. I thought it's like one of the cleanest looks. I think it looks fast. I'm going with Bubba Wallace's U.S. Air Force.
That thing's sick.
A10 Warthog.
That thing is sick.
It's got
with
like
the smiley face.
The nose cone like paint on it. It looks like it could be in the Air Force. Like we should just send those cars over to war. But yeah, I love it. It's not. I don't know if it's iconic or not, but it just looks so sick. I'm a plane guy. It's very cool.
That's like what the Jordan 5 is based off too.
Yeah.
Like on the side.
They're very similar looking. But yeah, that's my final real pick.
My final real pick is I don't like the Home Depot logo because of when it has too much white or too much orange. So the 2004 Tony Stewart, the black Home Depot, they rode in Richmond in 2004. So Logano will have I think more of the white background again, not the orange guy. Black Tony Stewart, Home Depot number 20 from 2004 in Richmond is my final pick. So those are the 4. Those are our top 4s.
Yeah.
Right? And then, so there'll be like a supplemental miscellaneous type one.
Yeah, just something
we'll start bottom of the lineup and work up. What do you got?
So, this one's tough for me. I don't know. Do I just pick like the next best?
Just go with something that you need on
one
your
that you
board.
probably wouldn't have put like as something, right? More like a quirky thing.
I think this is like basically one more chance to get something on your board that you think will draw attention to it.
All right, how about this one?
Bad, good, ugly.
This is one that I really liked. Was Bubba Wallace ran one that was a Wheaties car, the Wheaties Bubba Wallace car. I believe if my memory serves, it had chrome like numbers. It was really hot. So I like Bubba Wallace the chrome Wheaties car.
Okay. I was gonna do. I might pivot. I'm going with. I'm going with the Gravedigger car. You got the shirt.
This one?
I think it's just so sick. It
is really cool.
It's taken like an unbelievable design from monster trucks and it fits perfectly on the car. I was gonna do a Tony Stewart Shrek car.
Oh yeah.
But I don't want double Home Depot on there, so I'm going with one that I actually like with Kevin Harvick Gravedigger.
I'm going to show for my last one. I'm going to show some love for Daytona 500 winning Ricky Stenhouse because seeing the grilled cheese on the side of his car, seeing an English muffin on the side of his car, it's been making me smile all season. I'll go back to the 2020 Talladega, the Yellowwood 500 Talladega, where he had just the big thing of flapjacks. So the Hungry Jack car, the number 47 with the pancakes on the side of it, with the big pat of butter and the syrup running down. For a fat guy who's starting to get into NASCAR in a big way, I almost would put that as number 1 because it makes me fucking happy and it makes me hungry. So I'm taking Stenhouse.
That's a great one.
Yeah, that's my guy. So that's it. So we'll put that into some sort of graphic.
Quigs, what else did you have on that sheet?
Yeah, let's do honorable mentions. What got missed?
Richard Petty's
43.
STP.
Yeah.
People are going to be mad about that. The Dale Jr. Bud car.
How about
that one's iconic? I love which I don't even know if it was race, the Chase Elliott Night Owl. The black with like the blue accents is so sick.
I actually like the one without the blue better.
Yeah?
Yeah, just the black and orange Night Owl is sick.
Kyle Petty's mellow yellow car.
Yeah, I had that on my list. What else didn't I get to?
The Mark Martin Viagra car I love.
Yeah, I was going to say
it's not
that.
even that cool of a scheme.
That one and the GoDaddy one were in between my honorable mention.
GoDaddy was an unbelievable. Like, what was that?
It was
great commercial.
It was to like buy domain names.
Yeah.
Some weird.
Yeah, they were like, let's get hot chicks.
Of
and
like,
then also
porn on the TV and be like, get a domain name.
Other honorable mentions. Kevin Harvick's ran some fire ones, including Powerade, the Gravedigger one that Quiggs mentioned, and then also the Reese's car.
Yes.
And I think Harvick, Stenhouse, and my guy Riley Herbst have all driven a Sunny D car, which I'm a big fan of Sunny D. So
I'll tell you right now, in 2007, Kevin Harvick not only ran a Reese's car, Reese's had the banana cream peanut butter cups. And so since it was peanut butter and banana, he rode the Reese's car with a big picture of Elvis on the side of it.
I saw there was
banana.
Elvis. I never knew like why. I assumed it was like
Rusty Wallace did
promoting
an Elvis one because he rode in Las Vegas in 2002. So Wallace put Elvis on the side of his car, but Kevin Harvick did it because it was banana and peanut butter.
Also honorable mention for the Kyle Busch Snickers car. For some reason, I really, really love the car. There's not really many brown paint schemes, so that one I think looks fucking real clean.
I think just Kyle Busch's rotation of candy.
The Skittles one, Well, we should do a last pick. On like drivers' collective body of work. So if you could just pick one driver, and then it's like a video game, you can race any one of their paint schemes. Well, are you sticking with Stenhouse, Large?
I think I have. Listen, I like the Napa. I like the Hooters.
Chase
I really
has some
liked when
clean
we
ones.
spoke to him. One of the first times we spoke to Chase, it was when he was promoting his children's cancer
hospital.
Cancer hospital, and that was the one where he had the 16-year-old girl who had cancer. No, 16-year-old girl with leukemia. She designed his car, so it was all like cartoon fucking dogs and stuff.
Yeah,
on
that
it.
one was really cool.
And it was just cool as hell, man. And then so I don't know, like I love Chase Elliott's cars, but I think I have to go with Stenhouse.
Yeah, we
I'm a
didn't really
Stenhouse
give
guy.
Chase his flowers in this segment, but he does have some of the cleanest schemes ever. The 9 blue and yellow 9 is iconic.
Yeah.
I like the Eric Jones Guns N' Roses one.
Oh,
that's a
that one
hot
was sick.
car.
Yeah. We
yeah.
all bought the shirt.
Great
You're
shirt,
right.
terrible car.
Yeah.
That's a great one. There's so many good ones, and I know we're missing so many. So you guys got to get in touch with us.
I think Kyle Busch kind of like back when he was 18, kind of takes it.
Yeah.
And the fact that you just kind of get the Candyman nickname.
It's so sick. It's so sick.
All right, so we're going to throw that up into a graphic. Top 4, the miscellaneous 5th, and some honorable mentions. And I think you could do it for a lot longer.
Oh, we could have taken 10 draft picks.
Yeah, so we're going to get to see like Harrison Burton driving in his dad's scheme.
Yeah, that was
kinda
cool.
too.
Yeah.
Even Chase with the 9, like Bill, like the Bill Elliott type thing.
Blaney's got some cool schemes
Yeah.
from time to time. He's
So
also got
I mean,
some
in
bad
terms of
schemes
like
sometimes.
iconic, I feel like Logano's is pretty like just
Yes.
how consistent it runs.
He's also one of the guys that really throws me off when he's not running.
exactly.
His, like,
Yeah,
normal
that's a good
scheme.
that's a good benchmark for
Yeah, it's
how.
like, what the hell is he? Yeah.
All right, so we're going to put a bow on Darlington before we move on to North Wilkesboro. And the best way to put a bow on anything is tell you who over and under with Spider. Who overachieved, who underachieved this week,
Well, let's
Spider?
start with the unders, just because we said it earlier, and I think it's going to be pretty obvious. Chastain and Larson, 2 of the best cars in the race, 2 of the best drivers as of recently, and I think either of those cars could have won. Instead, they let their emotions get the best of them and took each other out. So I think they disappointed me a little bit. In terms of overachieving, you got to show some love for the RFK boys. Brad finished 4th, Chris Buescher 10th. I feel like those guys have been running really, really good recently, and they're just knocking on the door. So the other Fords, half of the top 10 were Fords, and I feel like they've been struggling recently. So I just want to acknowledge the presence there. We got my guy Harrison Burton finishing 6th. He looked like he was running unbelievable.
Yeah.
And he got his way up kind of top 10. And then I was like, wow, Harrison's doing really well. And he held. So, like, he didn't just get up there. It wasn't a pit cycle. It wasn't just, luck. He deserved to be up there, and he did really well. Todd Gilliland, 11th place finish. I thought he was really impressive as well. And, that's what I got for the over-under segment. Did I miss anything? What did you guys think?
One of the things, last week I had mentioned Ford was the underperformer because he only had 1 car in the top 10. So then to bounce back and have 5 cars in the top 10, like you don't know whether or not they overperformed or just all the Chevys were into the wall.
Harvick also over. I mean, the door was kind of open there at the end, but he looked really good.
Yeah.
He almost won the thing. So
Yeah, I guess so the Harvick, the 6, Buescher. So yeah, Ford had a hell of a weekend. Well, are you going to bet him this week?
Probably. I'm going to try to be a little reserved with my betting card, but spoiler alert, there's a lot of juicy odds.
It's the new Spider. He had said, I got 1, and then all of a sudden he started looking at him, and he had 10. So we'll see. Preview North Wilkesboro is brought to you by NASCAR. So it's a short track like no other. So you can't get a comp to this track, right? Because It's got an uphill back stretch, a downhill front stretch, very rough surface. It's going to be a ton of tire wear, so you expect maybe the veterans to handle that a little bit better, and there's going to be a ton of slipping and sliding. It's been closed for 27 years, right? 1996. Jeff Gordon was the last winner, so a couple of drivers have run like late models here, but nobody has run a cup race on this track. Nobody. Someone said Chase Elliott has an advantage because he ran late models here in 2010. Was 13 years ago. Chase Elliott was 14 years old when he did that. William Byron wasn't born the last time they ran Cup here, just so people know. That's why so many drivers are there early for the races. Like Suarez had raced twice yesterday. We're recording on Wednesday. Suarez raced twice. Everyone's there. Gragson was there already. And then the truck race that they're going to be having on Saturday. You have Bubba who's going to be running in the one. Kyle Larson's in the truck race. Our boy Josh Williams is running trucks this week in the 22. Chastain, Byron, and Bell. Think about that. I mean, that's an interesting truck race if you're following all the smoke that's been happening right now. So you'll have Bubba, Larson, Josh Williams, Ross Chastain, William Byron, and Chris Bell running that. And that's going to be kind of the schedule. Friday is very interesting because you have the All-Star Pit Crew Challenge starting at 5:45, which you can catch on FS1. And then Saturday, and that has implications. Yep. The Pit Crew Challenge has implications to positions, right? Starting positions. And then Saturday, you have the Truck Series. It's the Tyson 250. It starts at 1:30, and you can catch that on Fox. The Truck Series on Saturday, you can catch on Fox at 1:30. And then Sunday, all the All-Star stuff is going to begin on FS1. So the All-Star Open will start at 5:30 p.m., and then the All-Star Race will start at 8 p.m., and you catch all the action, all the NASCAR action on FS1. All right, so that's North Wilkesboro. It's out of the way. We have nothing to do really right now except give you all of our winners. So Picking the Tires brought to you by Barstool Sportsbook. Barstool Sportsbook has the most competitive lines for NASCAR that I've seen. Listen, lines move all the time, but we're first to market on these things. Sign up. Start betting with the Barstool Sportsbook, and I think you will not be disappointed. I don't know if we can say that so confidently with other sports. Maybe we can. I don't give a shit. I know that we're very competitive here. I'm being honest with you guys. So go to Barstool Sportsbook, sign up, bet some fucking NASCAR. Who do you guys like?
You want to go first, Byron?
Yeah, I'm going to go first. And
He's going to take the whole fucking board.
Quiggs and I have a little bit of an overlap, and that overlap, I think, is going to be Chase Elliott. I think this is a great opportunity for Chase to win. I think he's acclimated back in to racing. I think he looked great last week with a third-place finish, and this is a great spot for him to win.
Was he sandbagging? Was
No.
he sandbagging saying, oh, I'm not that... Like, remember when Bubba said, I shouldn't be driving anymore?
Yeah.
Like, is that what Chase... does he traditionally do that?
I think-
I suck.
I think he'll
You know
be
what I mean?
back better
I also
than what we've
think...
seen.
I thought it was weird that you were saying that he was disappointed in his performance, because I thought he should be ecstatic.
Yeah, I thought he
They
did
went
really
right
well.
over to him.
because he was kind of like 15th, like
He had the
so
third-
like 10th to 15th all day, like
Right.
not having a good race, and he pulled out a third place finish.
He
I
had
think
the
he should
third
be.
best
I disagree
car
with him.
on
No,
his team, and he finished
I
third.
didn't mishear that. Like Jamie was, if it was Jamie Little, then I'd be like, oh, I wasn't paying attention. But it was the other guy who was also hot as balls, and so that's what he was saying. He was very much down on himself.
Yeah.
So maybe he's starting to realize that there's 13.
Well,
I think he regrets
the
going
urg-
snowboarding.
I think the urgency is
Yeah.
there for Chase, and I think he can get it done this week. But so if you had to ask me for an outright, it'd probably be him. That being said, I did like Kevin Harvick until I saw that he was the favorite at plus 700. But here's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to list 10 drivers that I like. Well, I will. Kevin Harvick, Kyle Larson, Ross Chastain, Chase Elliott, Kyle Busch.
Jesus.
But do you want to know something? The one thing about all those drivers is they drive the car that's under 11.5, which is minus 127 this week. And I love that. I love it. You're getting veterans. You're getting the Kyles. You're getting Kevin Harvick, who's the favorite, and Chase and
Denny
Ross.
Hamlin's in there.
Wait. Yeah, and Denny's in there. Excuse me. Yeah. So under 11.5, minus 127, and that's what I'm rolling with.
I don't hate that.
Chase Elliott would probably be my outright pick.
It's a great pick last week too, until
Yeah,
bad
until it
things
wasn't.
happen.
Yeah, he got
So,
fucked on that. Yeah.
You're right.
For me, I'm going. I actually lied earlier. I am taking Chase, but I'm only taking him in a head-to-head matchup. He's minus 110 against Christopher Bell. I think he does that easy.
I like that.
I'm actually taking something in the All-Star Open, the little to get into the race.
Right.
I like Ty Gibbs plus 400, which I think kind of goes back to he's been racing great. He just can't get into that like area with the guys who are just so good that I think he could do it in this race where it's kind of like the lower tier level guys. And I think he gets that done. And then for the actual race, I'm just going one pick. I'm going Kyle Larson plus 700. I think he's just the best driver, like the best, can handle any car, any track, and this is a track that nobody knows anything about.
Right.
That I think kind of just on the fly skills will help him a lot. But I wouldn't nobody knows anything about this to where I wouldn't put a lot of money anywhere for these races.
I'm just picking Chase because most popular driver, all-star race.
I don't really get Kevin Harvick's plus 700.
Yeah, I wanted to take him until I...
Is
there something I don't know?
Well, I'll tell you, I think there is that one time in the 29 and people thinking that a guy who's as experienced as him will be able to handle tire wear, like that type of thing. I think they think he's a wily veteran.
Does that
this
mean,
is him.
Does that mean that I don't get Harvick if he's driving the 29
No, you don't
car?
get him. You don't get him.
Oh, you don't? Yeah.
You do not get him.
Fuck.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I just don't like
I'm
him
sticking
being a
with it.
favorite.
Are you staying?
I'm sticking with it.
Listen, so that's yours.
Yep, that's all I got.
I'm looking at the Tyson 250 again. I'm loving these truck races lately, and seeing that Kyle Larson is plus 300, William Byron is plus 350, and Christopher Bell is plus 550. It just seems like it's easier for these guys, but I'm pulling that out again. The same thing that I always do. I like Zane Smith at plus 850.
Yeah.
I think the kid is a very good truck driver, and they don't give him the respect. I can't pass him up at plus 850.
Yeah.
Because I think, and you're going to say, oh, of course not. I think if one or two of those guys aren't there, his odds just decrease exponentially. I'm glad that they have him above Bubba at plus 1,100, and Ross Chastain in the truck race is plus 1,800. And I don't like him at all. I'm going to take Zane Smith. I'm going to take Zane Smith on Saturday afternoon. And then what else do I have? Oh, I got top threes. I tell you, I can't pick winners anymore. I like Joey Logano top 3 plus 350. I think I like Joey to win, but I'm taking Joey Logano top 3 plus 350. I think he finds a way to do this on weird tracks. And I also like Kyle Busch. People aren't paying attention to Kyle Busch, so I'll take him top 3 plus 350. You took him, right?
Yeah, I think Kyle and Chase are my two guys this week.
Kyle and Chase, those are the two you feel most strongly about?
Yeah, but I'm taking the under 11.5.
Okay, I'm going to go top 3 Kyle Busch, top 3 Joey Logano. And then I am going to put a little bit of money on Kevin Harvick to win just because I'd love to fucking see it.
Yeah.
It's just one of those things. I picked this car for Christ's sake.
I just don't think there's anything that he's shown that makes him the favorite for this.
Okay. Second and last thing that I'm going to tell you guys, we're all wearing the sweatshirt. Go buy a sweatshirt. Everyone loves the sweatshirts. Oh, yeah. So if you
Great
go,
Father's Day gift.
Fucking great idea. Listen, your dad spent a lot of money on you, and you didn't deserve it. I know this because I have kids who don't deserve it. I spent a lot of money on them. Best thing you can get your dad this Father's Day is one of these.
If you're
going to Barstool store.
If you're going to be watching the race with Pops, you got to get, or even, anyone.
Even if not, I think, it makes me look younger. And more slimmer. I've been told that by.
Sure. I think my past 5 Father's Days have just all been like a Barstool something.
Oh,
my dad loves it. It's so easy.
This is the best Barstool.
I might get him one of these.
Yeah.
My kids got me a Jamie Little Fatted. So, and the last thing, I'm starting to watch a lot of stuff. I started watching a Dale documentary on Netflix, which is awesome. I'm loving the history of NASCAR now. I'm going to become a fucking historian, But FS1 now has had a 5-part series called Dirt. Did you see this?
No. I did not.
It's once a week it drops, and it's just about dirt racing, which I know nothing about. So I started watching it, and if you watch the first episode, you know how sometimes movies start with a really cool quote? They just put the quote up on the screen. They put one up from Ernest Hemingway. Ernest Hemingway is my guy. He drank himself to death. At one point, you could see his liver through his stomach. It looked like a leech was coming through. Very, very good. Everyone in his family killed themselves.
Is that real?
Ernest Hemingway is an interesting cat. Yeah, very much so. George Plimpton, I think, was interviewing him and said he could see his liver through his skin. But anyway, so it starts with an Ernest Hemingway quote. There are only 3 sports: bullfighting, motor racing, and mountaineering. All the rest are just games. I love that shit. And then they go right into dirt racing. Got me fucking hard, and that doesn't happen that often. So give that a look if you guys want. Otherwise, that's Rubbin is Racing. Thank you very much, NASCAR. Thanks, Spider, Quigs, Liam, and we'll see you guys next week.
Enjoy the All-Star race.
Yeah, let's go.
Ernest Hemingway never watched college football. That's better than mountaineering.